The mining station floated in the darkness like a forgotten toy. Hyan-Su wiped the grease from his hands and looked at the broken cooling system in front of him. Another day, another repair. Life on Halo 7 was simple and boring, exactly how he liked it. He had been working on mining stations for 3 years now. The pay was good, and he didn't have to deal with the crowds back on Earth. Sure, the station was old, and things broke down every day, but that kept him busy. The crew was small, maybe 200 people, and aliens from different worlds. Most kept to themselves. Hyan-Su's communicator buzzed. It was G1 from the medical bay. Hyan-Su, we need you at the docking bay right now. There's been an accident. He grabbed his tools and ran. The docking bay was on the other side of the station. When he arrived, he saw smoke and debris everywhere. A small ship had crashed into the landing platform. It was sleek and beautiful, not like the rough mining vessels they usually saw. This was a luxury craft. What happened? Hyan-Su asked. Dae-Jin, one of the Keltheran security officers, was already there. The Keltheran were tall, elegant beings with pale blue skin and large eyes. They were one of the oldest and most powerful species in the galaxy. Dae-Jin looked worried, which was unusual. The Keltheran never showed emotion. Royal vessel. Engine failure. They have injured inside, Dae-Jin said quickly. They forced open the damaged door. Inside, the ship was a mess. 2 Keltheran guards were dead. In the back compartment, a young woman lay on the floor, bleeding heavily. Her clothes marked her as someone important, probably royalty. Her skin was turning gray, which meant she was dying. G1 rushed in with the medical kit. She scanned the woman with a handheld device. Her face went pale. This is Princess Era of the Keltheran Empire, G1 whispered. She's losing blood fast. We need to get her to medical now. They carried her carefully to the medical bay. The station's medical AI came online and began scanning the princess. Red lights flashed across the screen. Hyan-Su watched as G1 and the AI worked together, trying to stop the bleeding. But it wasn't enough. She needs a blood transfusion immediately, the AI announced in its calm voice. Searching database for compatible donors. Everyone waited. The AI checked every person and alien on the station. 47 different species. Surely someone would match. No compatible donors found. Patient will expire in approximately 14 minutes. The room went silent. Hyan-Su looked at the dying princess. She was young, maybe his age. Her breathing was shallow and quick. In 14 minutes, she would be dead, and nobody could do anything about it. What about human blood? Hyan-Su asked suddenly. The AI responded immediately. Cross-species blood transfusion has a 0% success rate. All documented cases resulted in immediate rejection and death of the recipient. Not recommended. But she's already dying, Hyan-Su said. What's the difference? At least try. P1 stared at him. Hyan-Su, the AI is right. It won't work. It will just make her die faster. The proteins in human blood will attack her system. Dae-Jin stepped forward. If we do nothing, the princess dies. If we try and fail, the princess still dies. But if there is even the smallest chance. He looked at Hyan-Su. I will take responsibility for this decision. Proceed. The AI protested, but G1 overrode it. She prepared the transfusion equipment. Hyan-Su sat down and rolled up his sleeve. The needle went into his arm, and he watched his dark red blood flow through the tube. It looked so normal, so human. How could this possibly work with an alien? G1 connected the line to Princess Era. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the princess's body began to shake. Her skin turned darker gray. The monitor started beeping frantically. She's rejecting it. I knew this would happen, G1 said, reaching to stop the transfusion. But then something changed. The shaking stopped. The princess's skin began to return to its normal pale blue color. The monitors showed her heart rate stabilizing. Her breathing became deeper and more regular. Everyone in the room stood frozen, watching something impossible happen. The AI's voice sounded almost confused. Patient vital signs improving. Blood oxygen levels rising. Cellular regeneration detected. This should not be possible. Hyen-Su felt dizzy. They had taken a lot of blood from him. G1 removed the needle from his arm and gave him something to drink. He sat there, watching the princess's color improve minute by minute. Her wounds were healing faster than they should. 2 hours later, Princess Era opened her eyes. She looked around the medical bay, confused. When she saw Dae-jin, she tried to sit up. "Princess, please remain still," Dae-jin said, bowing his head. "You were injured in the crash. We are on mining station Hilo 7. Era looked at the monitoring equipment, then at G1, then at Hyen-Su. Her eyes stopped on him. For a long moment, she just stared. Hyen-Su felt strange, like she was looking right through him. "Who are you?" she asked. "I'm Hyen-Su. I work here. I'm a mechanic." "You saved my life," she said. It wasn't a question. Before Hyen-Su could answer, the communication system activated. A deep voice filled the room, speaking in the formal Keltheran language. Dae-jin's face became serious. He responded quickly, then turned to the group. "The Imperial fleet is approaching. They detected the princess's emergency beacon. They will arrive in 1 hour." He looked at Hyen-Su with an expression that might have been pity. "They will want to know what happened here. They will want to know how a human saved a Keltheran life when it should be impossible." G1 grabbed Hyen-Su's arm. "This is going to be a problem. The Keltheran Empire doesn't like mysteries. They're going to want answers." Hyen-Su felt his stomach drop. He had just wanted to help. He didn't think about what would happen after. Now an entire Imperial fleet was coming, and they would have questions he couldn't answer. Princess Era sat up completely, ignoring G1's protests. She looked at Hyen-Su again with those large, intense eyes. "Don't be afraid," she said quietly. "I won't let them hurt you. You gave me life when you had no reason to trust it would work. I owe you a debt that cannot be measured." But when the Imperial fleet arrived and armed guards marched into the medical bay, their weapons ready and their faces cold, Hyen-Su realized that gratitude might not be enough to protect him from an empire that demanded answers. The Imperial Palace was nothing like Hyen-Su had imagined. He thought it would be cold and scary, but instead it was beautiful beyond words. Crystal towers reached toward the purple sky of Keltha Prime. Gardens filled with strange, glowing plants surrounded every building. Water flowed in patterns that seemed to defy gravity, but Hyen-Su couldn't enjoy any of it. He was a prisoner, even if they called him a guest. His quarters were large and comfortable, with a bed softer than anything he had ever slept in. But guards stood outside his door. He couldn't leave without permission. Every day, Keltheran scientists came to study him, taking samples of his blood, scanning his body, asking endless questions. G1 was there too. The Empire had brought her from the station to explain human biology. She stayed in quarters near his, and they were allowed to eat meals together. That was his only comfort, having someone to talk to who understood what was happening. "They're scared," G1 told him one evening as they ate strange Keltheran food that tasted like flowers and metal. "The scientists can't explain why your blood worked. It breaks every rule they know about biology. Some of them think it's going to kill her eventually, that we just delayed the inevitable." "But she looks healthy," Hyen-Su said. He had seen Princess Era twice, since arriving on Keltha Prime, always from a distance, always surrounded by guards and advisors. She looked stronger than ever. That's what scares them more, G1 replied. She's not just healthy. She's better than before. Stronger, faster healing. And she keeps asking to see you, which makes the Emperor very unhappy. Emperor Tevan. Hyan-Su had only seen him once, during his arrival ceremony. The Emperor was tall and imposing, with silver hair and eyes that seemed to judge everything they saw. He had looked at Hyan-Su like he was a puzzle that needed solving or a threat that needed removing. That night, Hyan-Su couldn't sleep. He stood by the window, looking at the alien stars, wondering if he would ever see Earth again. A soft sound made him turn. His door was opening. He tensed, expecting guards, but instead Princess Era stepped inside. She wore simple clothes, not the formal robes he had seen before. Her hair was loose around her shoulders. She looked more human this way, though her blue skin and large eyes reminded him that she was very much alien. "I'm sorry for sneaking in," she said quietly, "but they won't let me speak to you during the day. My father forbids it." "Why?" Hyan-Su asked. Era walked to the window and stood beside him. "Because something happened when you gave me your blood. Something they can't explain or control. And my father hates things he cannot control." She held out her hand. A small cut appeared on her palm, made by a blade Hyan-Su hadn't even seen her draw. He started forward to help, but stopped. The cut was healing right before his eyes. In seconds, the skin was perfect again. "I could never do this before," Era said. "My people heal faster than humans, but this is different. This is instant. And there's more." She touched the glass of the window, and it began to frost over in patterns, despite the warm air. "My psionic abilities have grown stronger. Much stronger. I can do things now that should take decades of training. Is that bad?" Hyan-Su asked. "To my father?" "Yes. The Keltheran Empire is built on bloodlines and tradition. Our abilities are supposed to follow predictable patterns. We know who will be strong and who will be weak based on their ancestry. But I have become something unpredictable. Something new." She looked at him. "And I can feel you." "What do you mean?" "Your emotions. Your presence. Even when you're far away, I know where you are. I know when you're anxious or scared. It's like part of you is still inside me, mixed with my own blood." She paused. "Does that frighten you?" Hyan-Su thought about it. It should frighten him. But somehow it didn't. "Can you feel what I'm feeling now?" Era smiled slightly. Curiosity, confusion, a little fear, but less than before. "You're adapting to this situation quickly." "Humans are good at adapting," Hyan-Su said. "Yes," Era said thoughtfully. "I'm beginning to understand that." She left as quietly as she had come. Hyan-Su returned to bed, but his mind was racing. He had thought saving Era was the end of the story. Now he realized it was just the beginning. The next morning, everything changed. Alarms rang through the palace. Guards rushed through the hallways. Someone grabbed Hyan-Su from his quarters and pulled him into a secure room. G1 was already there, looking terrified. "What's happening?" Hyan-Su demanded. Daijin, who had apparently been assigned as their guard, spoke quickly. "Assassination attempt. Someone tried to kill the princess during her morning meditation. They failed, but barely. Who would try to kill her?" G1 asked. "The purists," Daijin said. "A conservative faction within the Empire. They believe the princess has been contaminated by human blood. They say she is no longer truly Keltheran and should not be allowed to live, much less rule one day." "That's insane," Hyan-Su said. "Is it?" Daijin asked. "From their perspective, Everything they believe about genetic purity has been proven wrong. If a human can fundamentally change a Keltherin, what does that mean for their entire society? They would rather kill the princess than face that question. The door burst open. Princess Era strode in, followed by a dozen guards. She looked angry, which was the first strong emotion Hyan-Su had seen from her. "They will try again," she said. "My father cannot protect me from the purists forever. They have too much support among the noble houses." She looked directly at Hyan-Su. "And they will kill you too. You are the source of the contamination in their eyes. As long as you live, you represent the possibility that other Keltherin could be changed. Then what do we do?" Hyan-Su asked. "We leave," Era said. "Tonight, Daejin has arranged a ship. We go to Earth, where you will be safe, and where we can find answers about what human blood truly is." "Princess, you cannot," one of the guards protested. "Leaving Kelthar Prime without the Emperor's permission is treason, I know," Era said calmly. "But staying here means death. I choose life." That night, they moved through the palace like shadows. Daejin led them through secret passages that only the royal guard knew about. Ji-1 stayed close to Hyan-Su, her hand gripping his arm. They could hear alarms in the distance, the sound of searching parties. The ship was small but fast, designed for quick escapes. As they lifted off from Kelthar Prime, Hyan-Su looked back at the crystal towers growing smaller below them. He had been a prisoner there, but at least he had been safe. Now they were fugitives with an entire empire potentially hunting them. Era sat in the co-pilot seat next to Daejin, her hands moving across the controls with practiced ease. She looked back at Hyan-Su and smiled. "Don't worry," she said. "We're going to find out why you're special. And maybe, just maybe, we'll change the galaxy in the process." Hyan-Su wanted to believe her. But as they jumped into hyperspace, running from the only home Era had ever known, he couldn't shake the feeling that they had just made the situation much, much worse. Earth looked beautiful from orbit. Blue and green and white, swirling with clouds. Hyan-Su had been away for 3 years, and seeing home again made his chest tight. But this wasn't a happy return. They were running for their lives. The news had traveled faster than their ship. By the time they reached Earth's space, every news channel in the galaxy was talking about the miracle of Halo 7. Some called Hyan-Su a hero. Others called him a threat. The story got bigger with each retelling, and most of the details were wrong. Landing was difficult. Earth's security forces wanted to detain them for questioning. Only G1's credentials as a registered xenobiologist and her frantic messages to the Earth government convinced them to allow landing at a secure facility outside Seoul. Dr. Min Seo was waiting for them. She was a small woman with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. She was Earth's leading geneticist and had apparently been studying Hyan-Su's medical records since the moment the story broke. "Fascinating," was the first thing she said when she met them. Not hello, not welcome home. Just fascinating. She immediately started scanning Princess Era with portable equipment. "The cellular integration is remarkable. Your blood cells and his are working together like they've been compatible for millions of years. This shouldn't be possible." "We know," Gi-1 said tiredly. "We've been hearing that for weeks." They were taken to a research facility deep underground. It was supposed to be secret, but Hyan-Su noticed the soldiers everywhere. Earth was taking this situation very seriously. Dr. Min Seo spent 3 days studying blood samples from both Hyan-Su and Era. She barely slept. On the 3rd night, she called everyone together in her lab. Her hands were shaking slightly as she pulled up images on the display screen. "I found it," she said. "I know why it worked." She showed them complex genetic sequences that meant nothing to Hyan-Su. But Ji-1 leaned forward, her eyes widening. "That's impossible," G1 whispered. Not impossible. Just improbable, Minzio said. Humans have something unique in our DNA. We call it hyperadaptability. Our species evolved on a planet that tried to kill us constantly. Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, disease, climate swings. Earth went through more environmental changes than most planets see in a billion years. And somehow we survived. She changed the display. Our cells learned to adapt, to change, to work with whatever came at them. It's why humans can eat almost anything. Why we can live in deserts and tundra in jungles. Why we heal from injuries that would kill other species. Our bodies are designed to adapt to anything, including alien blood, Era said quietly. Exactly, Minzio said. When your blood and his blood mixed, his cells didn't attack yours. They adapted to work with them. They filled in the gaps in your biology. They treated your body like just another environment to survive in. And your cells accepted them because they could sense that these foreign cells were trying to help, not harm. Jin frowned. This means any human could potentially save any alien with blood transfusion? In theory? Maybe, but it would depend on many factors. The alien's biology, the human's specific genetic markers, the circumstances. It's not magic. Minzio looked at Hyun-Soo. You just happen to be a very good match. Lucky, really. Hyun-Soo didn't feel lucky. He felt tired and scared and way out of his depth. A soldier entered the lab and whispered to Minzio. Her face went pale. You all need to see this, she said. She turned on the news. The display showed Counselor Yoon-ji, Earth's representative to the Galactic Assembly, giving a speech. Behind her, alien delegates from dozens of species watched with various expressions. The Galactic Assembly has issued an emergency decree, Yoon-ji was saying. Her voice was calm, but her hands gripped the podium tightly. Effective immediately, all human ships are restricted to human-controlled space. All human colonies outside the Sol system are under quarantine. No human may travel to non-human worlds without special permission. The news anchor's voice took over. In effect, humanity has been quarantined by the galaxy. The Assembly claims this is for everyone's protection while they study the implications of human biological compatibility with alien species. Protection, Daejin said bitterly. They mean control. They're afraid of what humans represent. Can they do that? Hyun-Soo asked. Just lock down an entire species? They already did, Ji-won said. She was reading messages on her datapad. Human ships are being intercepted at checkpoints. Colonies are reporting alien military ships in orbit. It's not a request. It's enforcement. Era stood abruptly. This is my fault. I should have stayed on Keltha Prime. I should have accepted death rather than cause this. No, Hyun-Soo said firmly. You didn't cause this. Fear caused this. People always fear what they don't understand. Before Era could respond, alerts started flashing on every screen in the facility. Minzio pulled up the security feed. Ships were entering Earth's orbit. Lots of ships. But these weren't human vessels. A communication came through. The face that appeared on screen was crystalline and beautiful and cold. The Vorden were a silicon-based species, one of the oldest in the galaxy. They looked like living sculptures of precious gems. People of Earth, the Vorden commander said. We represent the confederation of pure bloodlines. We cannot allow the contamination you represent to spread through the galaxy. You have 12 hours to surrender all humans with xenobiological knowledge, starting with the human called Hyun-Soo. If you refuse, we will consider it an act of war. The transmission ended. The room was silent. 12 hours. Hyun-Soo felt his hands shaking. Era moved to stand beside him. I can feel your fear, she said softly. But I can feel your courage, too. You're afraid, but you're not giving up. What else can I do? Hyun-Soo asked. Dr. Min Seo was already typing frantically on her computer. We fight back. Not with weapons, but with proof. We show them that human-alien cooperation isn't a threat. It's an opportunity. In 12 hours? G1 asked. I have an idea, Min Seo said. It's risky. But when has that stopped us? She explained her plan. The Chell, an insect-like species, were suffering from a plague that had no cure. Thousands were dying every day. Their biology was completely different from human biology, but Min Seo believed she could use human blood proteins to create a treatment. Not a transfusion, but a synthesized serum. If we can save Chell lives using human biology, we prove that we're not a threat, Min Seo said. We're a gift. A resource that could help the entire galaxy. And if it doesn't work? Dae Jin asked. Then we're no worse off than we are now, Min Seo said. They worked through the night. Hyun-Soo gave more blood samples. G1 helped Min Seo process them. Era used her enhanced abilities to sense the subtle chemical reactions, guiding them when the equipment couldn't detect the changes. Dae Jin stood guard, his weapon ready. As dawn broke over Seoul, they had their serum. Min Seo transmitted the formula to Chell medical facilities across the galaxy. Then they waited. Hours passed. Hyun-Soo watched the clock count down. 11 hours. 10 hours. 9 hours. Then the messages started coming in. From Chell hospitals. The serum was working. Patients who had been dying were stabilizing. The plague was being stopped. More messages came. Not just from the Chell, but from other species. Scientists who saw the formula and understood what it meant. Politicians who realized that human biology could solve problems their own species couldn't. Regular people who were simply grateful that someone had found a way to help the Chell. When the Vorden commander contacted Earth again, his crystalline face showed something that might have been surprise. We have reviewed the data, he said stiffly. The Confederation still believes humanity is dangerous. But we acknowledge that you have also proven useful. We will not attack Earth. However, the quarantine stands until the Assembly can properly assess the situation. The transmission ended. It wasn't a victory, but it wasn't destruction either. Counselor Yoon-ji contacted them directly. Good work. You bought us time. Now we need to use it to change minds. She looked at Hyun-Soo. Are you ready to address the Galactic Assembly? To speak for your entire species? Hyun-Soo thought about the mining station, his simple life, his ordinary existence. That was all gone now. He was part of something bigger, whether he wanted to be or not. Yes, he said. I'm ready. The resistance started quietly. Captain Jae-min of Earth's Defense Force didn't wait for permission from politicians. When alien ships began blocking human vessels from leaving the Sol system, he organized small groups of volunteers to challenge the blockade. They used old mining ships modified with faster engines. They used smuggling routes that had existed since humanity first reached the stars. They didn't fight the alien ships directly. They just refused to be caged. Every time a human ship broke through the blockade, it sent a message to the galaxy that humanity would not accept imprisonment. Hyun-Soo met Jae-min at a secret base on the moon. The captain was younger than expected, maybe 30 years old, with scars on his hands and a permanent look of determination in his eyes. You gave your blood to save an alien, Jae-min said. That's what started all this? Some people blame you. But I think you did exactly what a human should do. You helped someone who needed help. That's who we are. And now the galaxy wants to punish us for it. I didn't mean to cause all this trouble, Hyun-Soo said. I know. But trouble found us anyway. so we might as well fight back. Jae-min pulled up a map showing human colonies across the galaxy. Red dots marked locations under blockade. We have families out there. Scientists, workers, children. They're being held prisoner just for being human. I won't accept that. The resistance grew quickly. Humans had always been good at organizing when threatened. Ships carried supplies to blockaded colonies. Hackers disrupted alien communication networks. Engineers developed new technology to avoid detection. It wasn't a war, not exactly. But it wasn't peace either. Meanwhile, Era made a decision that shocked everyone. She announced she was returning to Keltha Prime to challenge her father for the throne. You'll be killed, Daejin told her. The purists will never let you rule. Then I'll fight them, Era said simply. Keltheran law is clear. Any royal can challenge for the throne through ritual combat. My father cannot refuse without looking weak. Hyen-Su tried to convince her not to go. But Era was determined. I am stronger now than any Keltheran has ever been. Your blood didn't weaken me. It enhanced me. I need to show my people that change doesn't mean death. It means evolution. She left with Daejin to prepare for the challenge. Hyen-Su felt her absence like a physical pain. The connection between them had grown stronger over the weeks. He could sense her emotions even across the vast distance of space. Her determination, her fear. Her hope. G1 noticed him staring out the window one day. You care about her, she said. It wasn't a question. She's my friend, Hyen-Su said. She's more than that. The blood bond made you connected in ways that go beyond friendship or romance. You're part of each other now. G1 sat beside him. Dr. Min Seo thinks it might be permanent. Your cells in her body, constantly sending chemical signals. Her enhanced psionic abilities, picking up your emotional state. You're linked at a biological level. Is that bad? I don't know. It's never happened before. You're both making history just by existing together. News came from Keltha Prime. Princess Era had publicly challenged Emperor Tevan for the throne. The ritual combat would take place in 7 days. The entire empire would watch. Hyen-Su wanted to go to her, but Counselor Yoon-ji refused to let him leave Earth. You're too important, Yoon-ji said. If something happens to you now, we lose our best argument for why humanity should be free. So Hyen-Su waited and worried. He felt Era preparing for battle, felt her practicing with weapons and psionic abilities. The connection let him sense her confidence growing. She believed she could win. On the day of the challenge, everyone on Earth with access to galactic broadcasts watched. The arena on Keltha Prime was ancient, carved from a single massive crystal. Thousands of Keltheran filled the seats. The Emperor sat on his throne, surrounded by guards and advisors. Era entered the arena alone. She wore traditional combat armor, light and flexible, designed to enhance psionic abilities rather than provide physical protection. The Emperor's champion was a warrior named Veltar, undefeated in 37 challenges. He was twice Era's size and had trained his entire life for combat. The fight began. Veltar moved with precision and power, using psionic blasts that could shatter stone. But Era was faster. She dodged attacks that should have been impossible to avoid. When Veltar's blade came within inches of her throat, she caught it with her bare hand. The crowd gasped. The blade should have cut through her flesh easily. Instead, her hand healed almost instantly, faster than the blade could cut. Hyen-Su felt his heart racing as he watched. He could sense Era's exhilaration. She wasn't just fighting. She was proving something. The battle lasted for 17 minutes. Era used abilities that no Keltheran had ever displayed before. She combined human adaptability with Keltheran psionic power in ways that seemed to break the rules of both species. Finally, she disarmed Veltar and held her blade to his throat. "Yield," she commanded. Ve Liltar yielded. The crowd erupted in confusion and awe. Emperor Tevan stood slowly from his throne. "You have won the challenge," he said formally. "But you are no longer truly Keltherin. You are something new, something we have no name for." "Then I will make a new name," Era said. "I am Keltherin and human both. I am proof that we can become more than we were. And as your empress, my first decree is this: the Keltherin Empire will lift its support for the quarantine of humanity. We will recognize humans as equals and potential partners in evolution." Not everyone agreed. Several noble houses walked out of the arena in protest. But enough stayed. Enough accepted. The Keltherin Empire officially withdrew from the blockade, and other species began to reconsider their positions. Era contacted Hyun-Soo that night. Her image appeared on the screen, and even through the communication device, he could feel her joy. "We won," she said. "You won," Hyun-Soo corrected. "No, we won. I felt you with me during the fight. Your courage gave me strength. This is our victory." But the victory was short-lived. The Vordan Confederation saw Era's success as confirmation of their fears. If one human could fundamentally change a Keltherin princess, what would happen if humans spread throughout the galaxy? They gathered their allies. Every species that believed in genetic purity and isolation. The warning came from Counselor Yunji. "They're coming to Earth." The Vordan assembled a fleet, 3,000 ships. They want to end the human threat permanently. Captain Jae-min immediately mobilized Earth's defense force. But everyone knew the truth. Earth had maybe 500 combat-capable ships. Against 3,000, they had no chance. "We'll fight anyway," Jae-min said. "Even if we lose, we'll show them that humans don't surrender." Era brought the Keltherin fleet to help. Other species who supported humanity sent ships too. But even combined, they were still outnumbered 2-1. The Vordan fleet arrived in Earth's orbit like a storm of crystalline death. Ji-min's forces met them between the Earth and the Moon. The battle began, and space lit up with weapons fired. Hyun-Soo stood in the orbital defense station, watching the battle through the windows. He felt useless. All around him, people were fighting and dying to protect humanity. And he was just standing there, the cause of it all, unable to do anything. Era's voice came through on his communicator. "I can feel your frustration. You want to help." "I don't know how," Hyun-Soo said. "I'm not a soldier. I'm just a mechanic. You're more than that. You're the bridge, the connection. And I have an idea." She paused. "It's dangerous. It might not work. But if it does, we might end this without destroying each other. What do you need me to do? Trust me, and open your mind. Let our connection grow as strong as it can." Hyun-Soo didn't understand, but he trusted Era. He stopped trying to block the sensations coming through their bond. He let himself feel everything she felt, and let her feel everything he felt. The connection exploded between them, stronger than ever before. And something impossible began to happen. The battle raged around Earth like a storm of fire and metal. Ships exploded into fragments. Weapons lit up the darkness. People were dying with every passing second. Hyun-Soo felt it all through his connection with Era, felt her pain as her own soldiers fell, felt her determination not to give up, but something was building between them. The blood bond that had started as a simple biological connection was growing into something much larger. Era's psionic abilities were amplifying it, using Hyun-Soo's human adaptability as a channel to reach further than any Keltherin mind had ever reached before. "What's happening?" Hyun-Soo gasped. He could feel other minds now, 100s of them, 1000s. Human soldiers in their ships, Keltheran warriors fighting beside them. Even the Vordan attackers, their crystalline consciousnesses sharp and cold and afraid. "I'm using our bond as a bridge," Era said. Her voice sounded strained. "Human biology adapts. Keltheran psionics connect. Together, we can reach across the battle and touch every mind at once. But I need you to trust me completely. I need you to let me extend our connection to everyone. Will it hurt them? No. They'll just feel what we feel. They'll understand what we understand. Human and alien, joined together for one moment." She paused. "Hyan-Su, I need your permission. I won't do this without it." All around them, people were dying. The battle was going badly. Earth's defense was crumbling. In another hour, maybe less, the Vordan would break through to the planet's surface. "Do it," Hyan-Su said. Era's consciousness merged fully with his. For a moment, Hyan-Su couldn't tell where he ended, and she began. Human and Keltheran, two completely different beings, sharing one expanded awareness. And then that awareness exploded outward like a wave of light. Every being in the battle felt it. Human soldiers suddenly experienced what it was like to be Keltheran, to have psionic senses that could touch other minds, to belong to a civilization millions of years old. Keltheran warriors felt human determination, human adaptability, the stubborn refusal to give up that defined humanity. Vordan commanders felt both, and for the first time understood that these two species weren't enemies, but partners in something new. More than that, everyone felt everyone else. A human pilot felt the fear of the Vordan soldier he was about to kill. A Vordan gunner felt the love a human fighter had for his family back on Earth. A Keltheran officer felt the pain of a dying human medic trying to save lives in a damaged ship. The weapons fire stopped. Not all at once, but gradually, as understanding spread through the fleet. Ships that had been trying to destroy each other moments before now drifted in silence. Their crews overwhelmed by sudden empathy. Hyan-Su collapsed. The connection was too much, too many minds, too many emotions. But he had felt it all. He had felt the Vordan commander's fear that humanity would spread their adaptability through the galaxy and erase what made each species unique. He had felt the human soldiers' desperate courage, fighting to protect the only home they had. He had felt Era's hope that this war could end without more death. The connection faded slowly. When Hyan-Su opened his eyes, he was lying on the floor of the defense station. Medical staff surrounded him. Era's face appeared on a screen above him. "You did it," she said softly. Everyone felt it. The battle has stopped. Communications channels opened across the fleet. The Vordan commander's crystalline face appeared on every screen. "We felt your truth," he said. His voice was no longer cold, just tired. "We felt that you do not seek to destroy us or replace us. You seek only to live and help others live. This is not a threat we can fight with weapons. This is something we must learn to accept." The Vordan fleet withdrew, not in defeat, but in confusion and contemplation. They had come to destroy a threat, and found instead a mystery that challenged everything they believed. In the days that followed, the galaxy changed. Counselor Yoon-ji stood before the Galactic Assembly and proposed something new, the Covenant of Blood, not a treaty enforced by weapons, but an agreement based on shared benefit. "Humanity offers our unique biology freely," Yoon-ji said to the assembled delegates. "We will work with any species that wants to explore what human adaptability can do for them. Medical treatments, biological research, new understanding of how different forms of life can work together. We ask only for recognition as equals and an end to the quarantine." The vote was close. Many species still feared what humanity represented, but enough had felt that moment of connection during the battle. Enough had experienced what it meant to truly understand someone completely different from yourself. The Covenant passed. Dr. Min Seo established exchange programs with dozens of species. Human volunteers donated blood and tissue samples for research. Alien scientists came to Earth to study human biology. New medical treatments emerged that saved millions of lives across the galaxy. The Chell plague was completely eradicated. Other diseases that had plagued alien civilizations for centuries suddenly had potential cures. Hyun Soo became Earth's first ambassador of biological exchange. It was a strange job for a mechanic, but somehow it fit. He wasn't a politician or a scientist. He was just someone who had helped when help was needed, and that made him perfect for the role. Era visited Earth often, as relations between the Keltheran Empire and humanity grew stronger. Each time, Hai and Sue felt their connection strengthen. Scientists studied them constantly, trying to understand the bond. It's not just biological anymore, Jiwon explained to him one day. It's evolved into something new, a genuine psionic link between human and Keltheran. You're sharing thoughts and emotions across light years. This could be the future of galactic communication. 5 years passed. Hyeon Soo stood on a stage in the Galactic Assembly building, holding his daughter Na-yoon. She was 2 years old, born to him and his human partner. But medical scans had revealed something remarkable. Na-yoon had latent psionic potential, something humans weren't supposed to have. Being near Era during the pregnancy, being exposed to that psionic connection, had somehow influenced the child's development. Era stood beside him, addressing the assembly. This child represents the future, she said. Not a hybrid, but a human who has been touched by alien influence and grown from it. And she is not alone. Reports were coming in from across human space. Children born after the Covenant showed unusual abilities. Some had enhanced healing. Some had slight psionic sensitivity. Some could adapt to alien environments more easily than their parents. Humanity was evolving, not by replacing their biology, but by adding to it. We proposed the symbiotic alliance, Era continued. A coalition of species committed to mutual evolution. Not conquest, not competition, but cooperation. Learning from each other, growing together, becoming more than we could be alone. Species from across the galaxy joined. Not everyone. The Vorden remained skeptical, maintaining their isolation. But enough joined to change the nature of galactic civilization. Research stations were established where different species worked side by side. Mixed crews became common on trading vessels. Children of all species grew up learning about each other's biology and culture. Hyun Soo watched it all with wonder. Sometimes he still couldn't believe that it had started with such a simple act. He had seen someone dying and tried to help. That was all. No grand plan, no thought of changing the galaxy. Just basic human compassion. Do you regret it? Era asked him one evening. They stood on a balcony overlooking Earth's oceans, watching the sunset. Your life was simple before. Now you're responsible for so much. Hyun Soo thought about it. He thought about the mining station, the quiet days fixing machines. He thought about everything that had happened since, all the fear and danger and confusion. No, he said finally. I don't regret it. You needed help, and I helped. Everything that came after, good and bad, that's just life. We deal with it together. Era smiled. Through their connection, he felt her agreement, her gratitude, her hope for the future. Below them, the city sparkled with lights. Human and alien citizens walked together through the streets. A Keltheran child laughed at something a human friend said. A Chell merchant sold goods to a Vorden customer who had decided to see Earth, despite his people's official stance. Humanity had been dismissed as unremarkable when they first joined the galactic community. Too new, too simple. too ordinary. But it turned out that being unremarkable was humanity's greatest strength. They didn't have ancient traditions to defend or genetic purity to maintain. They were adaptable, compassionate, willing to change, and help others change. Hyun-Soo had given his blood to a dying alien princess. That single act of kindness had revealed a truth the galaxy needed to learn, that the strongest bonds aren't formed through power or dominance, but through the simple willingness to help someone in need. No matter how different they might be, the galaxy would never be the same. And neither would Hyun-Soo. But looking out at the world they had created together, human and alien side by side, he thought that was probably for the best. Na-yoon tugged on his sleeve, pointing at the stars beginning to appear in the darkening sky. Someday she would travel to those stars, part of a generation that had never known a galaxy divided by species. She would see cooperation as normal, not exceptional. Which star do you want to visit first? Hyun-Soo asked her. Na-eun pointed at a bright one on the horizon. That one, she said confidently. Era laughed. That's actually Venus, not a star. But I like your enthusiasm. They stood together as the night fell. Three beings connected by blood and choice and hope, looking toward a future where the galaxy was no longer divided into us and them, but simply we.